Hey, welcome back. Jen and Adam here with PepperHarrow Farm. Today we're going to show you 3 things with how to use Pussy Willow. How to prune it, how to store it, and how to use it. Hey, Jen and Adam here from PepperHarrow Farm. Today we're going to be trimming up our amazing Pussy Willow trees. Now we've let them get a little out of control. You're going to see that from what we show. Some of our catkins we're going to be storing, and then some of them we're actually taking and selling to florists. We're running a little bit behind with our pruning schedule on them. We should have maybe gotten them a little bit earlier.
Some of the branches that we're pruning are a little bit blown, but luckily we have a florist who has a wedding who wants them right now, so they're the perfect stage for her. It kind of works out great.
And I also have a class that I'm going to be teaching on the farm, doing some beautiful spring arrangements with some forced bulbs that we have, so I'll be taking those and using those also for my class.
Now we have been lazy for a few years. I have just been topping this with the hedge trimmers. These Pussy Willows really need to have a good pruning. It's really getting busy in here. There's a lot of like crossing branches, which are just not good. And all these side shoots that have catkins need to be removed so we can grow new ones for this next winter. So I want to start at the bottom to remove a lot of this material just because it's really busy and it'll just start to clear it out up top a lot for me. I'm going to start, I have a lot of trunks down here that are split. I want to keep these nice healthy main trunks. These lower shoots are just stuff that have popped up off of the bottom that I don't really need, just kind of making a big mess here. So I'm going to start by removing a lot of these lower ones here. Okay, I've cleaned up quite a bit of the bottom. It made a lot more room for me to start to make sense of what's going on here. I'm going to come back in later with a bigger saw and remove some of these lower clumps that need to be taken off. What we did is we removed a lot of the excess growth. Anything that is dying, there was a lot of dead ones in here that we removed. I actually see this one back here that still needs to come out that I got to get with the saw, and another couple of side branches that need to be removed also. But now that I have the bottom pretty clean, I can come back and start getting all these tiny side branches cleaned up. Now that I have most of my lower stuff removed, like I mentioned, I need to come back with the saw and clean a lot of the stuff up that I'll come back a little bit later. But now I have to make some decisions on how high I want it to be. It seems like I'm going to butcher it, but this thing will be okay. It could use a good butchering every once in a couple years. So I'm going to cut it about the height of where the branches start to split off, and I'm going to basically top the whole thing from here. And you can take just about every single one of these smaller branches and stick them in water and they'll root, and you can have a zillion new Pussy Willows if you want. Now I have it cut to the height I want, as many branches as I want to remove. Totally seems like I butchered it, but trust me, if you don't hit these Pussy Willows hard, you see how tall that they get from the beginning of the video. And if you never cut it, it would turn into a tree. It's actually a tree, and it will go insane, and then I wouldn't be able to reach the branches anymore. So this keeps it tamed and keeps it at a level that we're able to use what it produces and keep it at a manageable level. Now the last thing I'm going to do is I'm going to get all these ones that were just a little bit too big to get with the loppers, and I'm going to get the saw out and chop them off and clean it up, and we'll be ready to go for another year. I'm going to use my fun toy to trim up the rest of it. This is actually the fun part for me. We're all trimmed up, nice and pruned, ready for it to go crazy and grow like it was crazy again. So we'll do this every couple of years. We don't necessarily do it every year, but it's good to chop it back and give it a good hard pruning every few years.
storing pussy willow. The first thing I'm going to do is take these branches, I'm going to bunch them up into bunches of 10. I'm going to wrap them up in newspaper, and then I'm going to place this in a cool, dry place. That's going to allow me to store these branches to be able to use for later use for decoration purposes. I know, go away guys, what the heck?
Do y'all hear the chickadees?
They're upset with us.
They're mad because I haven't fed them yet today.
They really let you know about it, that's for sure. They complain and complain and complain. Use for pussy willows. Okay, there's a few. The first thing is we use these catkins. We're gonna sell these to local florists. That's the first thing. I'm gonna store some for later use, for late spring, to use in some spring bouquets. I'm also gonna use these. I have a class coming up and I'm gonna teach the class on how to do beautiful planters for spring. We're gonna be using forced bulbs. I'm gonna be sticking some pussy willow in there. It's gonna be beautiful. I also make wreaths with them. The other thing you can do with your pussy willow is root them to make more, which Adam kind of talked about in the pruning section. If you just take these and stick them in a little bit of water, they're going to start to grow roots and you can make more plants. It's amazing. The last idea I had that I was going to use for these pussy willow branches, not these in particular, but some of the ones that Adam trimmed off of the big tree, I'm going to take those and use them in a large scale arrangement off of this side of the barn for something beautiful to attract the attention for spring. There's many uses. Anytime you have anything like that, be sure to use them.
If y'all enjoyed this video, hit that like button, be sure to subscribe, and we'll see you next time.